But it's not
definitely
the
a
big
difference.
leagues.
Yeah, there's definitely
There's
a difference.
huge difference.
Yeah, what you eat, where you travel, where you stay,
yeah.
like you're definitely missing things. But it also is a motivator. Like
Yeah.
you can take it the right way and be like, dude, I never want to do this again, and not in
Yeah.
a bad way, like you said, but like being in the bigs and playing in front of 40,000 instead of 3,000
Yeah.
in AAA, it's a big difference.
Welcome to the Top Step, presented by Warrior Injury Law. If you're injured, call attorney Rob Edens at 253-WARRIOR. Battle tested. How we going, mates? Welcome to another episode of the Top Step. We've got an epic episode for you this week. Logan Evans, Mariners starting pitcher, joins me down at T-Mobile Park. We've got eyes on the M's. We're going to talk about the Mariners' new lineup after these big trades. We've also got the Cal Raleigh home run tracker. He had an epic home run against Tampa Bay. We want to get right into that. But before we get into all of it, make sure you go to YouTube and you go subscribe to your Mariners show with me at the Top Step TV. We've got How to Speak Australian. We've got all the breakdowns, all the extended interviews. So with Logan Evans sits with me for 40 minutes. You can go watch the whole 40 minutes. Or you can listen to the Top Step wherever you get your podcast. Oh, and follow us on X and Instagram at the Top Step TV and get a part of the conversation. We're having a lot of fun, a lot of really good content over there. Okay, it's time for Eyes on the M's, brought to you by King LASIK. Hey, mates, if you're ready for freedom from hassling with glasses and contacts, do what I did. Go to King LASIK. It was the best decision I ever made for my eyes. The procedure was easy and it was over in under 15 minutes. Start with a free Zoom consultation at kinglasik.com. So the trade deadline, the Mariners get an A+ with the offensive grabs. The fan base is absolutely stoked. They get two of the best bats in the trade market, and they're rentals. So it's all in for 2025. And the best part, it didn't cost them a whole lot. None of the top 100s, MLB top 100s, and especially when it considers what they bring for the 2025 season, which is what it's all about. But here's the thing. When you have the two impact hitters, it's not just about penciling them in, right? You have to figure out how you reshape this entire lineup. And again, this is a good problem to have. But where do they fit? Who moves? How do you keep that balance? I actually spoke to Dan Wilson about this right after that happened. And, you know, I asked him, I said, is this hard? Like, everyone's all fired up about the trade, don't get me wrong, but is it hard to construct a lineup when you have to, drop in a couple offensive threats? Guys have to move around. They're not going to be happy. Maybe they are. And his answer, of course, he said it's a good problem. But it's still a puzzle, right? Guys have to be willing to move too, by the way, especially when they're having success. For example, moving Randy Arozarena to the leadoff spot. So Randy goes from the cleanup spot, hitting behind Cal, which is nice for him, right? You get some of those extra pitches. He's in a nice little place right there, all the way up to the leadoff spot. And by the way, he was really excited about it. I said, hey, how do you feel about that? And he said, hey, man, he was fired up. And look, why is Randy, first of all, puzzle number one, why is Randy in the leadoff spot to begin with when he's starting to thump, right? He's got the OPS over 900. Well, the on base, it's around 330, and he is swiping bags, right? So I think that's the biggest thing. He's got a 90% success rate stealing bags, and with over 20 steals this year. So he's going to get pushed close to 30 bags maybe, and not to mention some of the slug we're about to talk about in a second, but he's having a massive success rate. By the way, there's only two other players who have swiped 20 bags with a 90% plus success rate. Now, all of a sudden, instead of a traditional table setter, you've got speed and power at the top, and you have to deal with that havoc on the bases and watch what it does to Cal's at bats when pitchers are worried about him taking off and taking an extra base. Right, I've been there. When you got someone who's disruptive on the bases, it just changes the quality of the at bats. Okay, so let's move down to the second 2-hole. Cal Raleigh, he moves into the 2-hole. He's a switch hitter, power, of course, and he gives you that right, left look right out of the gate. Not to mention he's getting that potential extra at-bat in tight games. That's not by accident, giving him that extra AAB, fitting nicely into the 2-hole. And then third, Julio Rodriguez. We've seen Julio do his best damage in the 3 spot, especially compared to when he's hitting in the 2-hole. When you look at some of the numbers, average goes up. There's some more slug to go with it. OPS is higher. And again, it breaks up the righties, right? So Randy and him are broken up by Cal being a switch hitter. Plus, he's heading into August and September, his favorite time of year, to catch fire. Now, after Julio, you got Josh Naylor, then Gino Suarez. Naylor's giving you that lefty thump and quality ABs. We've already seen that. Gino's chasing 40 home runs at the moment. He's going to go well over 40 plus. Put him in that cleanup spot. I love it. And by now, pitchers are already in survival mode, man. When you go from Randy all the way down with some of these pieces we've talked about. Oh, and then, by the way, after that, you then have Polanco, who is starting to look more and more like April, carry this team on your back version of the guy we grabbed from Minnesota a few years ago. He's starting to get the ball in the air. And I'm telling you, when you have that kind of production hitting down where he's hitting, you know you're a stacked lineup. But here's the thing, right? This is where it gets interesting. I've talked to Goldie about this on the broadcast. The bottom three, J.P. Crawford, Dominic Canzone, Cole Young. Yep, 3 lefties in a row. And normally that's just an open invitation for an opposing manager to call on their best lefty reliever, except it's not working out that way. JP's actually thriving down in the order. Right after the trades, he went off in those first couple series. Walk-off home run, plus all the hits to go with it. Canzone, he's starting to figure out those left-on-left battles. He's starting to get a chance to breathe because he's playing every day. And I love the fact that Dan is keeping him in there late. That's going to be huge for his development. And Cole Young, for a young guy, he's showing he can at least compete and keep this lineup moving, man. So it's massive. I know you see the 3 lefties down the bottom, but I'm telling you, if they can flip the lineup over, that's great. And by the way, that means that manager has to then burn his best lefty piece, and then Josh Naylor's not going to get him. Cal's not going to get switched around later on in the game. So it's huge. So the lineup moves. All right, flip the lineup over. So they're not just a bunch of all or nothing home run guys anymore. They're running a lot. They're manufacturing runs, and they can still go deep. 49% of their runs this year have come via the long ball. You're going to see that start to drop, which is a good thing. But think about that. You had Gino's near 40 homers at the moment. Randy's best power year ever. Cal being Cal, of course, and Julio about to go off. And you've got a lineup with multiple ways to beat you. So let me ask you, is this now the toughest lineup to navigate in Major League Baseball? 1 through 9. You know, where do you breathe? First guy's a power speed threat, then Cal, then Julio, then Naylor, and Gino, goes on and on. Then the bottom third that's turning the lineup over with quality ABs. You can't pitch around anyone in this lineup. You can't sit back and wait for that strikeout either. They'll run on you. They'll hit the ball out. They're going to grind your bullpen down. The Mariners just went from being a team that could slug you to death, but can also get shut out real quickly, to a team that can outslug you, outrun you, and wear you down 1 through 9. It's going to be a fun stretch here as we head into this playoff run. And so I can't wait, man. It's so much fun watching this offense. And yeah, I mean, 2025, they went all in. I love it. That was Eyes on the M's, brought to you by King LASIK. When we come back, we have the Cal Raleigh home run tracker. I sit down with Mariners starting pitcher Logan Evans, so don't go anywhere.
I'm attorney Rob Iddens, proud Marine Corps veteran and owner of Warrior Injury Law. We help all types of injury victims, like Ann, who broke her leg in a trip and fall accident.
I had broken my femur and I was in horrific pain. We chose Warrior because they had a good reputation. I wasn't just a name, I was a person, and that makes a big difference. I'm just grateful that we had the settlement for my care. I'm very pleased.
If you've been injured, call us at 253-WARRIOR. Warrior Injury Law. Battle tested.
Wellness. How do you practice it easily every day? At Olympic Hot Tub, we have more ways to achieve total wellness at home than ever before. Immerse yourself and let jets melt stress away in a saltwater hot spring spa. Swim in the privacy of your own backyard in an endless pool swim spa. Retreat to cozy warmth and detox in an amazing Tilo sauna. Then awaken your mind and body with a cold plunge. You'll be saying, ah, in no time. Your path to wellness starts today at Olympic Hot Tub. Better you, better life.
See life better with perfect, clear, natural vision from King LASIK.
Being a former professional athlete, I still love staying active. From paddleboarding, snowboarding, even playing with the kids, everything was such a hassle dealing with glasses and contacts. I'm so grateful to Dr. King and King LASIK. It's amazing how much better I see life.
I'm Dr. Joseph King. Let's free your eyes from the hassle of glasses and dirty contacts.
Schedule your free consult at kinglasik.com. King LASIK. See life better.
Welcome back to the Top Step. We're about to get down to T-Mobile Park with Logan Evans, my guest this week. But before we do that, it's time for the Cal Raleigh Home Run Tracker, brought to you by Bob Oates Plumbing and Sewer. Big dumper approved. Bob Oates is here for you. Now let's go back to number 43, shall we? Which was an epic home run against Tampa. The Mariners were down 2-0, and nothing was happening offensively. They were getting shut down. Rasmussen was tough. Cal had been struggling at the plate too. He had a couple big hits in the series prior, but no home runs for a little bit, right? So he gets to a 2-0 count against Griffin Jacks. That was, by the way, the Rays' big trade piece, and he's a stud too. The Mariners have had him, but. Here comes Cal, down 2-0, 2 runners on, and Cal took him deep to right center. And T-Mobile literally erupted. The crowd went insane. 8th inning go-ahead bomb for Cal, right back on track. Got him right back on track. 108 extra velocity off the bat, 417 feet into the right center seats. Epic game winning go-ahead. And by the way, that was game one of the Ichiro weekend. So, Epic home run number 43 for Cal Raleigh. All right, that was a Cal Raleigh home run tracker brought to you by Bob Oates Plumbing and Sewer. Big dumper approved. Bob Oates is here for you. Hey, by the way, big shout out to Bob Oates for supporting the Brian Wu camp we had last week. Thanks to Brian Wu too, by the way. All right, speaking of Cal Raleigh, he's everywhere, right? We know that. He even has his own beer, mates. Can you not love this guy even more? Big dumper beer, a collaboration between Scuttlebutt Brewing and Cal Raleigh himself. Available at Scuttlebutt locations and retailers near you. I need to try one of those ASAP. All right, let's get down to T-Mobile Park as Logan Evans joins me on the Top Step.
I've been waiting to sit down with you and have a chance to dive into a lot of things, man. But we were talking right before you came on. We're talking about, you're probably sick of talking about the fact that college numbers weren't great, and when you look at it, especially when you look at a baseball reference page, you look at some of the numbers and go, man, well, how did this happen, right?
Mm-hmm.
Obviously in a 12th round draft pick and everything else, but you were talking about going back, even back to high school days and rocking up to these showcases, and you said Bobby Witt Jr., for example, was in your class, right?
Yeah.
And the fact that you go to these showcases hoping someone sees you, were you someone even back in high school that people were looking at in regards to being a guy to be draft eligible?
I was never looked at for like the draft. I would say that colleges were looking at me, but it was kind of like once we get the big guys filled in, then we'll see if we have scholarships for you.
Yeah.
But yeah, like you said, like I always hear about my college numbers and everything. I kind of just used it as a chip on my shoulder to like prove them wrong. I never really felt like I was like going off on someone telling them I'm the best player, like this, and that. It was just kind of like I'll let my work out on the field show you who I am.
So going back to those high school days, right? Again, obviously you have these players that you go to these perfect game showcases and everything. Describe what did Logan Evans look like as a 16, 17-year-old? Give me the scouting
I was
report.
very raw player. I was like a two-way, so I pitched and I hit. On the hitting side, I'd hit for some power, but I had a lot of swing and miss in my swing. But more so on the pitching side, I was probably senior year 88 to 92. I would top out at like 94, but that was every like once in a while.
So you must have been pretty heavily recruited if that's the case, right?
I was more so like recruited by just the Big Ten schools. I wasn't like recruited nationally, just because a lot of my velocity came from me like growing so quick that I didn't really have the, like coaches would tell me I wasn't projectable. That word projectable out there, I don't really know what that ever meant, but I was like, all right, like I guess I'm not gonna grow into anything, so that's another, I prove them wrong, I guess. But yeah, it was just like I threw hard, but they didn't like love my frame at where I was at, and I didn't really have a lot of different pitches. I kind of just threw a fastball, changeup, and then like a slider, I guess you'd call it. It didn't really slide.
Were you one of these kids who you threw the crap out of it, didn't know where it was going essentially? Did you do like the plyo ball stuff and was just max effort?
I didn't really introduce plyos until college, but I would do like the J-band work prior to throwing. And then, I was one of those guys who just like, I threw pretty hard, but I didn't really know exactly where I was going.
Where'd the velocity come from?
I honestly want to say that it came from me playing all 3 sports. I played basketball, football, and baseball growing up.
Right.
So being athletic and being able to move my body in certain positions and having that adaptability is kind of where I believe my velo came from.
Really? So, okay, so I ask this all the time. Andres Munoz, who was like, really into track and field.
Yeah.
So that's a big one, man. If you're looking at it, if you're sitting in front of a bunch of 15, 16-year-olds, it's multiple sports.
Yeah, 100%. I've actually told kids that I've talked to before about this, I'm like, dude, play sports, like multiple sports as long as you can.
Right.
I think it's super beneficial. I know when I was getting recruited, a lot of teams thought it was super beneficial. You don't want to focus on baseball too much. It's like such a mental game too. Like go out and have fun with your friends and go play other sports.
For sure. And so, so going back to the college days again, man, baseball reference page, you look at it, nothing jumps out, 12th round draft pick.
Yep.
Does this come in here on the fact that you're in a major league rotation, especially like the Mariners rotation, right? This organization, I know 2024, they were elite, and now here you are in 2025, and you're part of it, and you've kind of pitched your way onto it as well. Do you ever like walk out here and go, I can't believe, you have that pinch me moment where I'm like, I can't believe I'm here?
Yeah, I would say like every day I do like a grounding walk around the outfield and I'm like still in awe that I'm in a big league stadium for sure, and I'll catch myself in the dugout. Me and Kirby were talking about it. It's like, you ever catch yourself, you're just like, wow, we're watching a big league game.
See, I can't see Kirby, like, just because of the way he projects is like, he's, he just has that, in a good way, a sense of arrogance about it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
But we were just laughing about it. He's super cool. But also at the same time, I will say that like I had this blind self-confidence the whole time.
Yeah. Right.
I showed glimpses of it. If you were to break it down and look at all my game logs in college, like there were times where it was like, oh, I showed that I have something.
Yeah.
I just wasn't able to put it together all the time.
Right.
And that's baseball. You're never going to figure it out, obviously. But yeah, I felt like I had this confidence in myself that like I was going to be able to do it if I just keep putting the work in.
It's Olympic Hot Tub's 48th birthday, and they're celebrating by giving you the gifts like outstanding savings on saltwater hot spring spas, plus a free Bluetooth sound system and interest-free financing for 3 years. You'll also find exciting savings on endless pools, swim spas, Tylo saunas, and cold plunges. How's that for a birthday to remember? But hurry, the 48th birthday celebration ends August 24th. Get details at olympichottub.com. Better you, better life.
You go from college to professional baseball, 12th round draft pick, right? I keep going back to that because sometimes it's such a, it's, first of all, it's a motivator. It can be such a positive thing because you're looking at this and you've got that sense of hunger to you, right?
Yeah.
Where you're trying to prove people wrong. Was there a turning point, whether it be an A-ball, double A, or a point there where you're like, oh, okay, man, I've kind of figured this out. I've turned a corner and now I'm sort of on that ascension to the big leagues? Or was there a coach too who maybe said something that there was a turning point there?
Yeah. I think originally when I got drafted and I went to Modesto and I had success there pretty quick.
Like right out of the gates?
Yeah, right out the gates. I was like, it was kind of sneaky because it was under the radar. It wasn't like in the Baseball America and all that stuff yet when they were starting to write about me. But I felt like I had confidence, and then our old pitching director, Matt Pierpont, he kind of came up to me. He's like, dude, you have it. Like, you just got to be able to put in that work. And I was like, all right, I like totally believed him. And then they kind of showed me the numbers that backed it. I was able to get ahead and win those counts. We talked about the 0-0s and 1-1s, and I was developing my sweeper, and they really liked that. And then I was able to add a few more pitches. So I went from like a 3-pitch guy to a 6-pitch guy in like a matter of like 2 weeks.
So you didn't have that sweeper with that kind of break. And I know you can't really quantify it in college like you can here, especially with some of the resources you have. But you didn't have that pitch in college.
No, I never had the sweeper that I throw. My cutter was like more of like a vertier backed up cutter, so it wasn't that hard. Like, it's really a gyro slider. I call it a cutter. On the thing it says cutter, but it's more so a slider.
Well, by the way, I mean, it drives me nuts because doing the games, I'm like, it's a slider, isn't it? It's like kind of that traditional, like you mentioned the gyro slider. I'm like, oh, cutter, okay. Yeah, okay.
And then I added the depthier curveball. And then I re-added like the 4-seam fastball. So I was only 2-seam in college. But yeah, right when I did that, that's when I felt like I turned the corner. And then I went to shove camp is what we call it.
Okay.
But it was like a velocity-based camp, and then we were just like ramping up for spring training, and I started to throw like pretty hard there.
What month do they have this shove camp?
January and then February.
And is that something where the Mariners have to invite a certain type? Okay, is that when you get invited to that, you're like, oh, here we go. I'm all of a sudden on someone's radar here in regards to moving away from this outside of the top 10 rounds to all of a sudden, man, they're seeing something here with me.
Yeah.
So that's got to be a bit of a jolt of confidence.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely. Yeah. Like that happened right after the season when they invited me. I was like, all right, like they really want to work with me and kind of make me their project. They felt like they could do a lot with me, and I was like, I'm cool with being like the guinea pig because they clearly have something figured out in this pitching department. So,
well, and what's the process? Everyone, you hear about designing pitches. You throw a pitch, check out some of the numbers of the day, look at that iPad screen from a TrackMan perspective. What is the process like? If you're Logan Evans, we're going to develop this sweeper. From the start to the finish, what's the process look like? How do you do it pitch to pitch?
So the biggest thing for me was to learn if I was a pronator or supinator.
Okay.
So I know that's like pretty big words, but realistically, do I cut the ball or do I finish through it and like turn my hand over? For me, I'm a big supinator, so that's why everything moving left, I'm able to keep velocity, and I have a natural ability of like making the ball cut and then sweep and then curve.
So like Tarek Skubal is a supinator, right?
Yeah.
Like he stays on this side of the ball a little bit easier because naturally you can accelerate through release on that side of the ball as opposed to
and the opposite is Logan Gilbert. He's able to ride the fastball. And he throws a bit of a slower like curveball for how hard he throws, and that's kind of like the indicators. And then once you learn that, more so for supinators, you're allowed to add pitches. So it was all just grips and being able to.
If you're a supinator, you're allowed to add. What do you mean by that?
You're capable of adding more pitches. Not that you can't if you're a pronator, but you're able to cut the change up and then throw it in certain seam orientations. Okay. So same goes with the sweeper, same goes with the cutter, curveball, all those different pitches. But for guys who pronate, it's a little bit harder for you to throw a certain type of sweeper because not all sweepers are the same. But yeah, I think that there's like some variability in that. But once you learn that, that's when I feel like you can take the next steps. And then really, the cool thing about the Mariners is when they tell you to learn a new pitch, the basis of it is just like for the sweeper, they're like, make it move left as much as you can. They don't tell you like, oh, throw it like this, throw it like that. They're like, just make it move left. And in your catch play, you move your feet around, you use different sized balls or different weighted balls and make it move. And then that's kind of when it comes and you learn that skill.
That's awesome, man. I mean, obviously we know about the pitch development and everything else, but going back to real quick, just on the fact that pronate, supinate, is that just edgertronic cameras? Are you looking at that via cameras, or are you looking at how are you figuring out that that's what you are?
Yeah, it was edgertronic, having the pitching department kind of break it down to me. You could see it if you're capable of having like a Rapsodo as well. Like you'll be able to see. It's called spin axis or gyro axis, and it will tell you in the bottom left corner. And another indicator, if you don't have any of those technologies, like if you throw a baseball within the 45-foot range and you cut it, that's kind of telling you that you're a supinator.
Gotcha.
So when I am just with my boys and I just toss it like that, I actually just cut the ball instead of like having it two-seam.
See life better with perfect, clear, natural vision from King LASIK.
Being a former professional athlete, I still love staying active. From paddleboarding, snowboarding, even playing with the kids, everything was such a hassle dealing with glasses and contacts. I'm so grateful to Dr. King and King LASIK. It's amazing how much better I see life.
I'm Dr. Joseph King. Let's free your eyes from the hassle of glasses and dirty contacts.
Schedule your free consult at kinglasik.com. King LASIK. See life better.
Wellness. How do you practice it easily every day? At Olympic Hot Tub, we have more ways to achieve total wellness at home than ever before. Immerse yourself and let jets melt stress away in a saltwater hot spring spa. Swim in the privacy of your own backyard in an endless pool swim spa. Retreat to cozy warmth and detox in an amazing Tilo sauna. Then awaken your mind and body with a cold plunge. You'll be saying, ah, in no time. Your path to wellness starts today at Olympic Hot Tub. Better you, better life.
What do you do when you're
Oh boy, The Big Dumper's my favorite. I love this show.
Sylvester, you're in this show. It's coming soon.
Oh, that's right, Poopy. But if I'm here and the show's coming soon, am I in the future?
Bob Oates is here for you.
I'm attorney Rob Evans, proud Marine Corps veteran and owner of Warrior Injury Law. We help all types of injury victims, like Ed, who suffered a neck injury in a highway pileup.
Had a bulge disc in my neck. It was pinching my spinal cord, so reached out to Rob. It was amazing. Their whole team were honest and kept me informed, like they were actually interested in helping me, not just a number. I'm very pleased with the outcome. I would definitely choose these guys any time of the week.
If you've been injured, call us at 253-WARRIOR. Warrior Injury Law. Battle tested.
Welcome back to the Top Step. This segment is brought to you by Core Contractors, the Center of Remodeling and Restoration.
During your debut, you shook off Cal later on in the game.
Yeah.
He came out. Talk us through what happened there.
Not really what the media thought. Like I know I've gotten asked a lot about it, and a lot of people thought that like he was kind of telling me like don't shake.
Right.
He was more so, and which he still does to this day. Like he's really good at it. He comes out and just kind of comes up to me and he's like, dude, I'm just giving you a breather, letting you slow down.
Right.
And JP did the same thing there on my debut, and he's done it a few other times. But yeah, just being able to slow the moment down, and that gives me more time to think in a positive mindset of like, oh, I'm gonna do this, and this is how we're gonna attack this hitter, and we're gonna go about it and get out of this jam.
Yeah.
And it's almost worked at 100% clip. So, I mean, he's pretty good at it. And I was joking with Logan, I have to think that Cal has the most mound visits in the entire league.
Yeah, maybe.
Like, I don't see catchers going out.
We can find out. We can totally find out.
Yeah, I would love to know that, because I think, one, he's really good at it, but two, he does it pretty frequently.
Right,
so
yeah.
That's my take on it.
All right, listen, I haven't got much more time with you because I know you got to get out of here, but we do have a segment called How to Speak Australian, brought to you by the Kangaroo and Kiwi. Have you ever been to Australia?
I have not.
Any teammates?
One in Low A, his name was Blake Townsend.
Oh yeah, Blake, yeah. That's right, I love Blake. Yeah,
he's super cool.
I brought Blake over on a showcase trip.
Oh no.
Yeah, and then, anyway, that's another story for another time, but I don't want to cut too much into this. I'll tell you when we get off camera. But okay, so this is How to Speak Australian, brought to you by the Kangaroo and Kiwi. A very popular car in Australia is called a ute. Can you describe what a ute is? It's short for utility. I'll give you multiple choice.
Okay.
Is it an A, is it SUV? B, is it more like a truck? Or C, is it more like a van? It's called a ute. It's very popular.
Okay.
Like you strike me as a guy who's like, oh yeah, I'm getting a ute just kitted out.
Yeah, I'm probably. My original answer was going to be SUV. I'm hoping that it's an SUV, by the sounds of it. But yeah, I think that maybe it's like a hybrid between like something that you can have a lot of storage, but also can like get some giddy up in it. Well, is it a van?
No, hey, by the way, if you want to play along, I'm just cutting this in case I do keep this for social media, like where they have to try and guess. Yeah. If you want to play along, you get at the Top Step TV and give me your answer. A ute is literally a two-door. It's the weirdest thing. The more time I spend in the States, the more I'm like, how are these friggin' things popular every time I go back? It's just a two-door. It's got like a truck bed. It's a truck, two-door truck, but it's like car level. It's not high up, right? Because I love trucks, man. Like I love being up high. Yeah. It's just like it's the weirdest thing ever. But you can get like a V8 engine, like hot up, and dudes. But they're so popular. Every time I land in Australia and I get out of the airport and I drive, I'm like, oh, there's another ute, there's another one. And they're the weirdest thing ever. Ask Blake Townsend about a ute. I'm sure he's got one. But anyway, listen, Logan, this has been awesome, man. I appreciate your time and kill it tomorrow, dude.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.